How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I'm going to talk about the controversy, if that's an appropriate term to use right here, between T'Challa, the King of Wakanda, and Erik Killmonger in the movie Black Panther. Now, I did a movie review and also kind of like a non-traditional movie review about this, and I'll post those links right here in the description box below. So this is not going to be that, but I wanted to key in on this specific issue here because I was on the stream yesterday. Shout out to O'Shea and everybody that was on the stream yesterday. I'm not quite sure if that's still up. I may do another one here with them pretty soon. And I was also seeing something from Yvette Carnell. She had Tone Talks on the stream. It had like 2,000 people in there yesterday. And the focus of that stream that they did between Yvette Carnell and Tone Talks was about T'Challa being like Obama. It was weird. In the stream I was in, I was getting into a debate with my man Steve the Dean Williams about the difference between T'Challa and Erik Killmonger. Obviously, I'm the kind of person, if you've seen Black Panther, and by the way, this will have a lot of spoilers in it. It's the only way I'll be able to explain the difference between the two of them and give you a logical reason as to why I feel the way I feel. So spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. You've been properly warned. I'm going to leave it at that. But I was explaining the difference between T'Challa and Erik Killmonger to Steve the Dean. He was saying that, well, Erik Killmonger came into Wakanda, he beat T'Challa, took over the throne, and everybody just basically bowing to his wishes and doing whatever he wanted to do, this, that, and the third. And he was saying why that would make a better leader than T'Challa, and T'Challa was weak because he got beat by Erik Killmonger. Let's back up a little bit and talk a little bit about these characters if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're kind of lost right now. Now, in the movie Black Panther, T'Challa is the King of Wakanda. He became king after his father, T'Chaka, died. I think that was in, Captain America Civil War? He died in that movie, so then his son becomes the king. When you become a king in Wakanda, there's a ritual you go through. You go into this little cave, and they have some of these herbs that grow from the ground in the cave. I'm not sure if they're powered by vibranium. I'm sure that they are. And if you don't know about vibranium, that's like the main resource that they use in Wakanda. They're very isolationist country. They use the technology within their country to take care of their own people. And that's pretty much what they do. They don't export arms and bombs and stuff like that. They're not involved. On the outside, it appears to be a third world country, but it's like a hologram. It's like a wall of sorts, because the average person would just see typical, rural African, almost desert type country with huts, but they wouldn't see what's beyond the hologram, which is a highly advanced country. The hologram, like I said, is like a wall because you wouldn't think to go to the interior of the rainforest where the actual technology and stuff of Wakanda exists. They're so isolationist, they don't even help the surrounding countries. I'm not really sure where Wakanda is specifically, but they did do kind of a zoom out of Wakanda, and it looks like it's in East Africa, right to the east of the DRC, which is that big country right in the center of Africa. So it should be right by Rwanda, Uganda, Burundi, that general area. They don't even help those countries, let alone even some of the nearby tribes. That's how they were able to exist for so long. That's why they were never colonized. That's why they are pretty much what they are. And that's how they've been able to develop technology over a long period of time and remain Wakanda for Wakandans. So they had a lot of tradition. And like I said, part of the tradition was when a new king comes in, they, do like a ceremonial battle type thing. Usually people cede and don't try to challenge him. Sometimes you may have somebody come in and challenge, but he wins, and then he goes into the cave. They give him the herb, they cover him with dirt, and then he goes into the ancestral plane. It's kind of like an outer body experience. You might even call it drug induced, kind of like an acid trip, but I digress. He goes into the ancestral plane to see his father, to see other ancestors, and he gains a lot of insight from them. He's able to talk to them, and that guidance is passed down through that experience, and he's able to use that going forward as the Black Panther and also as a King of Wakanda, which are not quite one and the same, but they happen, I guess, simultaneously. So that's what's going on with that. Now, you have Erik Killmonger, who comes in. he's there throughout the entire movie, but he comes in as a challenger to the Wakandan throne. I say probably like mid movie, towards the end of the movie. Killmonger is a person that was born by a Wakandan exile by the name of N'Jobu and an African American wife in the movie, but in the actual comics, N'Jobu and his wife were both Wakandan, and they got exiled to New York City with Erik when Erik was 8 years old. Then he comes back to Wakanda later. Okay. But in the movie, he grows up. His mother had been killed, I suppose. I think I've read that somewhere. His mother had been killed. His father had been killed. And the reason why his father was killed was because of T'Challa's father, okay, who was the King of Wakanda. The King of Wakanda back then killed N'Jobu because N'Jobu tried to strike the King of Wakanda. That's what happened. And the boy was outside playing. This was in Oakland, California, rather than New York City, because Ryan Coogler, the director of the film, is from Oakland, if you're following me. So the boy goes upstairs. He discovers his father, and he sees like some weaponry in him. And at a certain point, he discovers what that is. He discovers that came as a result of the Wakandans. That's their technology. He knows that T'Challa's father killed his father. So he goes back to Wakanda later with bloodlust. But before he goes back, he grows up as an American. Now, I'm not sure who he's raised by, if he has foster parents, if they're white, black, or whatnot. But he goes to MIT, graduates top of his class. He's like a super genius. He goes to the military, basically becomes a mercenary. He gets sent to third world nations all over the globe to take him over. Towards the end of the movie, he reveals that he has like some kind of notch on his skin for every kill he has. And I'll place a picture on the screen before you. You can see how many kills he has. He is basically a killing machine and paid mercenary. He'll go wherever he is sent to go by the United States government, by the way, which I'll get to in a little bit, to kill whoever he is paid to kill. It doesn't matter white, black, or whatnot. Now, there's a plot point in the movie where T'Challa is trying to get this guy Claw back to Wakanda. Now, Claw's a white guy who stole like a bunch of Wakandan vibranium. Like I said, that's like the most important resource they have. That's what they base everything on. And he also may have killed T'Challa's father, or may have had a hand in that. I'm not quite sure about that. But the point is that he was going to bring him back. He was going to bring his head back. Now, they had him in an interrogation room with the FBI or whatnot, because I think T'Challa was going to kill him right there in the street. The girl, I think her name is Nakia, she was saying, don't do it right here because you got everybody watching you. You don't want this to be the image of Wakanda. So he doesn't do it. They bring him into custody, but Killmonger, along with some other guys, go and retrieve him from that actual place with some bombs. They go in there shooting and whatnot. So this whole time, Claw thinks that Erik Killmonger is on his side, trying to get some vibranium to export it, sell it, create weapons, whatever they're going to do. But when they're going to like this helicopter to escape, to go somewhere, maybe to go to Wakanda to infiltrate to get some more vibranium, he ends up killing Claw and his own girlfriend, by the way. This is Erik Killmonger I'm talking about, and his girlfriend was black. So he kills Claw and then brings Claw to Wakanda. Now, when he goes to Wakanda, you see nothing but just, I think you got N'Kabi and some other people out there in their traditional dress. It looks like a third world country. He does not see the actual Wakanda. But once he brings Claw, now he's granted access to the interior of Wakanda. And at that point, it's revealed, because nobody really knows about this, but it's revealed that T'Chaka, the king that died, T'Challa's father, it's revealed that he killed Erik Killmonger's father, N'Jobu, in America. And it's also revealed that Erik Killmonger has the Wakandan lineage. It's like some kind of tattoo or some kind of mark right up under their lip that they show that says that they are of Wakandan descent. So he has the birthright privilege of challenging T'Challa to a fight to take over the throne. He beats T'Challa pretty soundly, pretty fair and square, but he doesn't really win. But for a little while, he thought that he won. He threw him over the waterfall. He thought he was dead. He thinks he wins. So immediately he goes in to just start burning up stuff, changing stuff. Remember I told you about that chamber where they go into where you eat the flower-shaped herb and you get covered with the dirt and you go to the ancestral plane? They do that with Erik Killmonger. He has his experience. He goes back to Oakland and sees his father and all this and that. He says that they probably won't accept you, whatever. He comes back, and after he realizes what was going on, what happened, what the herbs could do for somebody else in the future, he orders all the herbs to be burned. So basically, he's like, okay, no more kings after me. So already he's not thinking clearly. Already he's not thinking for the future of the country, because what happens if he dies tomorrow? Then how are you going to put the next guy in there? Now, I'm not sure if the flowers grow or whatnot, but if they are able to grow back, then what was the point of doing that? See, that right there also points to a lack of brain power, which would not make him a good leader. Furthermore, he chokes out one of the priestesses that's in there with him, because she says, hey, wait a minute, we can't really burn these herbs because this is what we need. This is part of our tradition. T'Challa's sister is able to grab one of the herbs, which she brings up to the mountain to give to M'Baku, who was like, what was that, the mountain tribe leader, because she wants them to help them depose the new king, Erik Killmonger. But M'Baku says, hey, let's go over here. Check this out. And then they see T'Challa still alive, covered in ice, because they're up in the mountain where it's snowing. They give him the herb, they cover him with ice because they got to cover him. And then he goes to the ancestral plane. He has his experience. He kind of is mad at his father for not telling him what happened about, N'Jobu and Erik Killmonger, whatever. But he goes back, he's revitalized, and then they fight. And eventually Erik Killmonger dies at the end. Now, that's the whole story right there. Like I said, major spoilers, but people took a lot of what happened in that movie and they said Erik Killmonger was the hero, because a lot of what Erik Killmonger was saying appealed to a lot of black folks, because he was talking about how Wakanda was never there where African Americans were going through their trials and tribulations. I'd rather be, because at one point towards the end, T'Challa was offering to save Erik Killmonger's life. He had stabbed him in the heart or whatever with a knife, and it was still in him. And he was like, hey, we could still save you. And then Erik Killmonger was like, nah, so you can lock me up. I'd rather be dead than to be a slave. This is for my people at the bottom of the ocean. Real black SJW, black and I'm proud, Black Lives Matter type stuff. So a lot of folks agreed with the SJW stuff he was spewing throughout the movie. Towards the beginning, he was talking to this white lady in the museum where some vibranium was at before they killed everybody in there to take the vibranium. He was talking about, well, this don't belong to you. This belongs to my ancestors, all this, that, and the third. Real SJW stuff. So people really want to side with him rather than T'Challa, because T'Challa is more of a centrist kind of person. He's not trying to be all out here meddling people's business. He's not trying to export arms. He's not trying to do none of that. He's just trying to have Wakanda be for Wakandans. Wakanda first, just like Donald Trump is. That's why I like T'Challa, because he's just like Trump, in my humble opinion, without some of the brash and bravado. He's like a combination of Obama and Trump. And what I mean by that is he was likable, just like Obama was for many people. But at the same time, he had the skills, the mind of a Donald Trump to be able to be a centrist and do things that would positively impact both sides. Whether you like Trump or not is really irrelevant, but the things that he's doing are helping both sides. Obama was a smooth guy, smooth talker, long-legged Mac Daddy. That was him. He was a smooth guy. I will give him that. That's for 100% certain and 100% sure. Handsome guy, attractive guy. However, he was just really one-sided. He was in favor of Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot. That was his thing. He was definitely in favor of the SJW narrative. While at the same time, he had some of Erik Killmonger in him as well, talking about Barack Obama, because Erik Killmonger was consumed with hate. He was mad about his mother not being there. He was mad about his father not being there. He was mad about not being given the privilege to be raised in Wakanda, having to suffer in America as a black person while not being in Wakanda, being privy to that technology and the culture that they had. He was consumed with anger. He killed everybody he came across. He killed innocent people, his own girlfriend. He killed people as part of a strategy to get what he wanted. Under the rule of a person like Erik Killmonger, emotionally unstable, not thinking clearly. People said he graduated from MIT, he was in the military, all this, that, and the third, but that does not mean that he was emotionally stable, nor does it mean that he was a person that would have been a good leader, okay? You got people like, let's compare it to a basketball team. You may have the Chicago Bulls back in the day, and you got your Dennis Rodman. Now, Dennis Rodman was, known as the Worm, really annoying, would get on your nerves, but he was not fit to be the leader like Michael Jordan was. He was just there to play a role. Erik Killmonger could have been good in a role in Wakanda, but not as a leader, because he needed to be even keeled, level-headed to do things that's going to help everybody. Some said T'Challa was weak because they look at masculinity and or strength as a thing that can be just generated from pure aggression and brainlessness, rather than having cunning, rather than having skill, rather than having some kind of foresight into what you're doing, rather than just flying off the handle and beating your chest. You could do all that all you want to, but how is that gonna bode well for your country going into the future? You're not going to have a country. Erik Killmonger was a Killmonger. He was bloodthirsty. Under Erik Killmonger, Wakanda would have disintegrated in a matter of 5 years, because he was already trying to export arms. He was already drawing a target on Wakanda's back. Now, his whole purpose of trying to gather the arms was to, quote unquote, fight the white man and fight the oppressors. But he does not think about, you're in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, sir. Okay. Just for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to just say the MCU, because you have other people, other nations, other factions with powers. Okay, you got nuclear weapons, you got superheroes, you got all kinds. You got the Avengers out there, you got the Incredible Hulk, X-Men, all these people that may come to fight you. So do you think that your vibranium and that you by yourself and a few other people in Africa, you think you're going to be able to conquer the whole world without any kind of resistance? Please. He was very short-sighted, but when you are consumed with anger, when you're consumed with rage, you're going to be short-sighted. You need to be somebody that does not have so much anger. You're not driven by anger. You're driven by desire to serve your people in the best way possible, to make sure everybody is safe, secure, and happy. That should be your role as the king, the chief, the president, the whatever you want to call yourself, the prime minister. That should be your role, not trying to exact revenge upon people's ancestors and be bloodthirsty. That's not going to lead the nation into the future. And I just wish, as I close, that people will understand that, rather than just thinking with their hearts and not their mind. So what do you think? Do you think Erik Killmonger was a righteous leader of Wakanda? If you think so, please explain to me why. He was bloodthirsty. He was brainless. Now, some people would say he graduated from MIT. He was a genius. You could be a genius technically on paper by passing tests and doing stuff, but you could also be brainless. You could engage in brainless actions. Okay. A lot of people that are very smart, have high IQ, will still do things that do not go well for the rest of humanity, because you may think that everything you're doing is the best, but at the end of the day, you're not taking into account other people's emotions. You could be a psychopath and also be a genius. You got to look at the whole situation, the whole picture, not just what you envision, what's going to be the best for all your people. Think about the needs of everybody, not just a select few or yourself. But do you think that I'm correct that T'Challa would have been the better leader? He was a diplomat type guy, cut it down the middle, trying to make everybody happy, trying to cut the middle ground. Not everybody's going to like what you do. Some may hate you, but you want to be right in the center to where you are still getting things done, and you're going to have a functional country after it's all said and done. When a country has traditions, those are in place to keep the country together. When you break that apart, the country breaks apart as well. You got to keep the fiber of the country intact in order to keep the people safe, happy, and secure. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.